Welcome to Founder Voice Podcast, the space for bold, empowering, raw, and unfiltered conversations about business, relationships, and everything that makes us fierce. No filters, no fluff, just real talk. We're back with season 3 and we're going even deeper. Get ready to own your voice, break barriers, and step into your power unapologetically. Let's get into it.
Hey everybody, we're back with ProfitHER Voice Podcast. Today I'm sitting down with Cierra Brent. She is out of Louisville. I brought her on because, of course, I'm always wanting to connect women with other women and just help women and show women that we are all about not gatekeeping, right, Cierra?
Yes, ma'am.
So tell them who you are, tell them what you do.
For sure. So for one, thank you so much, Valerie, for having me on today. I am excited to be able to chat with you and your listeners. So I'm Cierra Brent. I like to call myself a multi-passionate entrepreneur. I got my hands in a lot of things. I've been an entrepreneur for over 6 years now, and I just love being able to connect with women, inspire women, mentor women, and whatever it is that, they've got going on. But I am a financial consultant, but I also am a community connector. I run a social group and content creation. Like I said, I do a lot of things. So yeah, that's just a little bit about me.
I love it. ProfitHER Empire. Okay. So of course, I'm always looking for women to come on here to speak for the events. And this month I had the honor of bringing on Cierra Brent. She's out of Louisville, and I want her to talk to you guys, about the profits, because we're all out here building our empires, and, we don't know everything, but we can go out here and find other like-minded women that doesn't gatekeep, that helps us, and they want to see us grow. We want to see them grow. So that's why we are collaborating together. And we are here to help you all any way we possibly can. And of course, we're turning your profits and partnerships into profits, right?
Okay. So I am going to also, sorry guys, I need to make Valerie a little bit smaller here so I can see my screen. Okay, so we are talking about from passion to profit, building an aligned financial foundation for sustainable success. Okay, so we're going to be talking about a little bit of everything as far as being able to turn your passion into profit, but we are going to focus a little bit on the financial side of that because that is super important. And I noticed that with us women, we love our passions, right? And we want to be able to monetize those, right? And we want to be able to, what's the saying? If you love what you do, you won't work a day in your life, right? Yes. But we also get it is work. So you do need to get paid and you do need to be able to sustain your lifestyle, right? And so we have to be smart about these things and have a plan and have systems so that you can be successful. So like I said, grab your notes if you haven't already. I want to be sharing some good little nuggets with you tonight. So here's our table of contents. This is the things that we're going to be going over. Passion doesn't always equal profit, especially without a plan, right?
Cierra, can you move the picture of me to the top of the screen?
Oh, you can see you on here?
I can.
Okay. We're just winging it here, guys. Okay, here we go. Much better.
There we go.
Okay, so passion, like I said, passion without profit. And there's my kids. We also have what an aligned financial foundation looks like. Systems sustain success, and then we're going to reflect a little bit. Okay.
Love it.
So, first, I just want to talk a little bit about me, who I am, and how I got here. So the heart behind the hustle, like I said, a multi-passionate entrepreneur, turned financial advisor and community connector. I've built multiple income streams before learning how to sustain them. I think maybe you guys could probably relate, right? We are like, oh, I'm so excited about this. I want to do this. Oh, I want to do that. But we haven't set up that first thing to be, sustainable and successful yet. And so we're kind of spreading ourselves thin, doing all these different things and not focusing on building up one, getting that sustainable, and then moving on to the next one. So we're going to talk about that a little bit. And then I recently, honestly, you guys, just to be, transparent, I just recently discovered that alignment plus financial literacy is where that true freedom lies, right? Without those things, you're kind of lost in the sauce. And so I've built multiple businesses before. 2019, I did a cleaning company that I was running all by myself with no mentorship, no help. I just kind of were figuring things out on my own. I've been in the direct sales world, and now I'm in the financial industry. And like I said, I also run a social group here in Louisville. So that's just a little bit about me. But let's talk about passion doesn't always equal profit, right? Especially without that plan. Okay, so passion is the spark, it's not the system, right? You definitely want to have some passion in what you're doing, right? You want to make sure that what you're doing, you love, you like, that you know are knowledgeable in, right? Before making it a full business, okay?
Exactly.
You have to treat it like a business, right? You treat it like a hobby, it's going to pay you like a hobby. If you treat it like a business, it's going to pay you like a business. Now, think about when you first start your business, or if you haven't started a business yet, what are your first steps? You have to create that business plan, right? You have to get together. My favorite little tool is, and this might be a little controversial with all of the things AI, but Chatty B, she's my best friend. Okay, she helps me figure out all the things. She's just kind of like a sounding board for me. So that's a great little tool to use to be able to bounce ideas off of. Also, you want to make sure that you're getting with somebody that's already an entrepreneur, right? You want to put yourself in rooms with people who are where you want to go, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, so they can, help you, also bounce ideas off of them, right? See your blind spots, things that you don't really see when you're really excited and you're creating this business, and maybe some of the things you've come up with aren't really gonna, work out. You want to have somebody to be able to see those blind spots with you. So you have to treat your business like a business, and clarity creates confidence, right? You have to have some type of goal, right? You start with a goal and then you break it down into action steps, right? So passion doesn't always equal profit, especially without that plan. So you have to have that plan in order to be successful. Let me make sure I'm on here. Let's also talk about the financial part of the plan. Okay, this is a big thing, right? We think about all the fun things, all the ideas that we have. We don't really think about the financial side of that. Okay, we need to make a goal. Okay, well, this is what I'm going to be doing. How much money do I want to be making? Right? How much money do I want to be making a week? How much money do I want to make a month? And then how much do I want to make a year? Right? You have to break it down into those bite-sized steps, pieces, so that it's more digestible for you. Right? A lot of people they freak out when it comes to finances. It is sometimes a little scary, but that's why you're creating a plan beforehand to help set you up for success.
Exactly.
You want to also know like where your money's going within your business, right? You can't just you do your business, you do your service, or you sell a product, and then you're like, oh, just gonna put this into my personal account and spend it, right? We're all probably guilty of this at one point, right? But especially when we first start out. But that is not what we need to be doing, right? That is not a smart business move. You have to look at your full business plan, where things need to go. If you have to, have more inventory on hand, or you have to pay employees, you need to make sure that you're breaking this down. You also need to make sure that you're protecting what you are building. Okay, so if that is, getting with legal, getting a legal team in order, right? If that is, you cannot manifest what you mismanage, right? That's just self-explanatory, right? If you are a ball of chaos, your business is not going to run as smoothly, and you cannot move on to that next level of what you're trying to get to within your business, right? So let's talk about money mindset and in financial empowerment. So let's take, the focus to shifting the internal belief around money that keeps women stuck. I see this a lot with women, right? We have a lot of blocks, and that is what society has put on us, right? And we absorb these beliefs and make them our own when they're not true. And it keeps us stuck, and it keeps us in this cycle and this loop that we are struggling to get out of because we don't know where to start or how to rewire our brain to believe that we can achieve the amount of success that we want to achieve, whether that's income or visibility or whatever that may be. So I want to talk a little bit about my mindset shift. And a lot of times, speaking from experience, we know what needs to happen, right?
Yes.
We already know, it's already in the back of our heads, but we self-sabotage, we second guess, right? And that is something that you have to, like I mentioned before, find somebody to help you find your blind spots, right?
Mm-hmm.
I met with someone recently for a coaching session. If you are in the Louisville area, highly recommend Izzy Nally. She is incredible. It wasn't like she sat there and told me everything that I need to do, right? She asked me questions. Okay, Cierra, what is it that you think is the issue here? And then I just blurted everything out, and I'm just on, and she's like, yup. Like, she really helped me guide me through my own thoughts, right? And that's somebody in your corner that you absolutely have to have within your business. Like, that is such a powerful tool to utilize, is somebody with that type of knowledge. But emotional blocks around money can sabotage your success. If you think that, I'm not worth this amount of money, or I don't think I can make this amount of money, even if you're not like saying that out loud, it festers in the back of your mind and then it manifests into reality, right? And so you really have to work through those things. So let's replace that guilt with gratitude for earning more money. Track and celebrate all of your small wins, right? If that is, I posted, on social media for 2 weeks consecutively. Maybe that's not something that you normally do, and maybe it's just like, oh, like I really shouldn't, like that's not a big deal, but it is, right? You have to condition yourself to celebrate all of those wins. You need to also reframe money as a mirror of alignment and not self-worth. Okay. You have to really work on your mindset, because that is your biggest op. If you want to get with the slang with all the kids say, right? That is your biggest op, is your own mind. And you have to learn to rewire your brain, unlearn the things that don't serve you anymore, and learn the things that align with your future and where you want to go, right? If you are wanting to be able to make $10,000 in a month, you've never done that before, right? Of course, it's going to be a little scary. Of course, it's going to be a little intimidating, but you have to kind of hype yourself up in order to get there. So with that, you also need to make sure that awareness is the first step towards abundance. Okay. All right, moving along. What an aligned financial foundation looks like. Okay, so this is where your systems and your strategy is going to happen. So knowing where your money is going, protecting what you're building, and plan for sustainable growth. So knowing where your money is going, you need to make sure that you are tracking every penny in and out of your business. Okay, you need to know exactly whatever that looks like. I don't care what, system, platform that you want to use. Like I've said many times already, ChatGPT is a great way to help you figure that out, because there's so many platforms and things out there that you can use. But once you kind of figure out what your goals and things are, you can plug that right into ChatGPT, and it'll tell you the best platforms and things to use for your specific business and goal. So let's have some tangible steps to turn your passions into profit with structure. So how to create an alignment income stream without burnout. Like I mentioned, we need to make sure that we are tracking these things, but we also need to make sure that we're focusing on one business at a time. I think that's in my next slide, but I just want to touch on that a little bit. You need to make sure that you are building up that first business, because it can get messy if you are pulling yourself in a million different directions. Okay. You need to protect what you're building. What does that mean? There's a lot of different ways that you can do that. Protecting what you're building can look like getting with legal, right? Getting a legal team. Maybe you need some contracts or something drawn up for employees, or you're working with another business owner, or an entrepreneur of some sort, and you need to make sure that that is put into the right systems, right? You want to make sure that you're protecting your business that way. You also want to protect your income, okay? Maybe right now you have a full-time job, but you're building up your business on the side. Okay, maybe your business isn't exactly where you want it to be right now, so you have to work your regular 9 to 5. That's okay, but you need to protect that. You need to protect that income. How do you protect your income? With life insurance. Okay, life insurance is income protection. I know a lot of times people think that life insurance is just final expenses, right? Taking care of the debt that that person left behind, your funeral costs. No, if you think about it, if you were to pass away, okay, I'm sure that your whole household is based off of what you're currently bringing in, right? So maybe you share bills with a spouse or a partner, okay? Both of your incomes are paying all of those bills that you have. If one of those incomes were to disappear, what happens to your household? They could lose everything, right? Or they could fall behind. And so we want to keep that from happening. Again, with the debt, maybe you are building up some debt within your business. It happens. Don't recommend it. If you can avoid it, please avoid it. But it does happen. You don't want to leave that debt to your family if you were to pass away. I know this is a little, deep to start thinking about, but it is very, very important to make sure that these things are planned out, especially when you are building a business and you are having, more income coming in. You get more things. You want to make sure that your family's protected. So we can talk about those things. Those are some of the services that I offer, helping families plan out this type of financial structure, their financial house, making sure that these things are protected. But you also need to plan for sustainable growth. So let's see, notes. Gotta love my notes here. The importance of financial education. Okay, so budgeting, right? We talked about the protection, investing. Okay, you also want to plan for your financial future during retirement. Okay, I see a lot of people, they're planning all for the now and the immediate future, but they're not planning for the future when it's time to stop working, right? We need to make sure that you have a retirement plan set up, because some people get to the end of their career and they're like, oh, I do have a retirement, but it's not enough, right? It's not enough to live off of for the next 10, 15, 20 years. And then they have to go back to work, right? So, but that also looks like other investing, right? As far as, just having an investment there to grow your money for you that has maybe a specific goal in mind. Maybe you're just starting out and you want to have a business, but you don't have the capital. You can start there, right? So different things that you can do to protect what you're building and plan for your growth. Let's see. Okay, when you organize your money, your magic multiplies. So, we want to talk about aligning your income with your energy. Okay, so if you have a goal of $10,000 a month, but your energy is $100 a month action, right? You're giving out energy for only to be making $100. You're not putting in those action steps that you need to align to make that income that you are wanting. You're never going to get there. And so you have to make sure that you're breaking down those steps. And it is sometimes a little bit overwhelming, but take it step by step. Break it down. What's the saying? How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. That's crazy to think about. That's like a crazy analogy, but you really do. So making sure that your energy aligns with the actual income that you're trying to make. Structure your money for flow and not for friction. Diversify your income streams. Okay. So this is what I was talking about, of making sure that you build up one business first and then move into those other ones. So you got your main business, Once you get that built up, you can move into your passive incomes. Once you get that built, then you can move into collaborations and other things. There's so many ways that you can do this, so many avenues that you can go down. I definitely recommend just keeping with whatever you're working on that is maybe like a spinoff from your main business. So if you're in financial services, right, a way to do passive income is to create maybe like budgeting worksheets. It's like a digital product that you can sell, passive income, right? Or for a collaboration, you can host workshops and things like that. So those are just some examples for like what I'm into right now. But there's so many things that you can do with the business that you have. Let's see. All right. When women collaborate, wealth compounds. So building wealth with others, not alone, right? There's so many women out there that want to collaborate with you. If you are not already, I know that we are here on this networking call that's virtual, but I definitely recommend getting into some networking events that are local to you, because the women that are looking to collaborate are already in those rooms waiting for you to show up. And when we work together, we are a lot stronger than we are when we're working solo, right? We want to build each other up. And there's so many ways that you can collaborate. And there's so many women out there that have so many great ideas that maybe you haven't thought of that would add to your business. And then maybe you have ideas that would add to their business. So share how collaboration in both business and financial education has impacted your reach. So for me personally, I am working with a few women right now that I have met over the past few months, and we have some really exciting plans to be able to. So I have somebody that I'm working with. We're going to get her personal and her business financials together, right? And so we're actually going to record and like take people along her journey of getting her finances together, right? And that's going to help me, but it's also going to help her, of course, right? I'm going to help her with her finances. She's going to help me gain exposure, right? That's just one way that benefits you, right? Just by collaboration. So what makes a partnership profitable? Aligned vision, right? So what do you guys want to build? For me, is community. I'm all about building community because there's so many women out there, especially for myself when I first started, that I was like, oh, I don't know. I'm nervous that women are, going to be catty or they're going to be in competition with me. But there's so many women that are not like that. I would say the majority are really out there to help you. They want to build with you. And the minority is some of those women that don't have the greatest mindset, right? Mutual respect, right? You got to have that mutual respect to have any type of relationship. And then just complementary strengths. Maybe you have a weakness, but you meet somebody who has a strength in that area. And that's where you can really make some magic happen, right? I am very creative. I like creating, the graphics and recording the content. I have all the ideas, but I'm not a note taker. I'm not a, logistics type of girly. I'm not a bookkeeping type of girly. I'm not going to lie to you guys. And so I get with those women. I'm actually I'm starting a podcast of my own with a girl, and we complement each other so well because she is the note taker. So funny, we were having a meeting today about it, and we were on the phone on FaceTime, and we're talking about these things, and I just hear click clack click click clack clack on the computer taking the notes, and I'm like, I'm so glad that you're good at this because I am not. So definitely finding those women that complement your strengths and your weaknesses. Let's see. I want to challenge you guys to do something. I want you guys to identify one new partnership opportunity that could help expand your impact. Okay. So identify one new partnership opportunity that could expand your impact. Okay. Even if this is something that maybe you've been thinking about, but you're like, no, I don't really want to bother this person, or, I don't want to, maybe you're a little nervous or intimidated in a good way to reach out to this person to collaborate with them. I want you to write what we call in my business a chicken list. right? Maybe there's like 2 or 3 people out there that you want to collaborate with. Write that down, write down your idea and pitch to them. Just say, hey, reach out to them if that's over social media, if you have their number. Hey, I really love what you do. I would love to connect with you if that's over, a Zoom call or a coffee. Let's connect, see how we can, support each other and, maybe collaborate together and just shoot your shot. Like I said, when women collaborate, wealth compounds. All right, so let's reflect now. All right, so let's talk about a few different questions. So number 1, I want you to write down, where am I now? This is financially and energetically. Okay, where are you at financially? Where are you at energetically? Maybe you're not making the amount of money that you expected to be making. Maybe you're 6 months into your business and you are barely, making ends meet. Or maybe you are barely making $500 a month. Whatever that is, okay? Just write it down. Even if it's like, I don't want to think about it, just write it down. You have to see where you're at, right? Energetically, maybe you've been doing this a while and you're burnt out and you're like, I don't want to look at any more of this business, right? Maybe you're just at your wits' end with it. You have to reflect. You have to figure out, okay, where am I at? Let's see what needs to change. Maybe some things need to be adjusted, right? So write down where you're at. Next, I want you to do, where do I want to go? Okay, so financially, I'm at $500. I want to get to $5,000. Okay, even if it is that big of a jump, just write it down. The same thing with energetically. I'm burnt out with my business now, but I want to find my passion again. I want to be lit on fire within my business. I want to, show up and be the best person I can be within my business. Okay, what does that look like? The last question I want you to write down is, what is one step I can take today? What is one step forward that you can take today that's going to move you one step closer to where you want to go? I would love to connect with you guys as far as, financial structure. If you are like, Cierra, I have no idea if that's personal or business, and you're like, please help me, I need to figure out some things. I offer multiple different products and services. Maybe that's just connecting so that we can get a strategy plan put together. Okay. So if you have any questions, Valerie is going to open it up for questions. I believe she's going to let you guys drop some questions in the chat. You can also text me. This is my phone number. Text Profit to schedule a financial strategy, or you can just say, hey girl, like let's connect over coffee or a Zoom call. I would love to answer any questions that you guys have. And yeah.
I love it. Thank you so much, Cierra, for putting this slideshow together. And y'all, I have to tell you, like, when she talked about, finding women to connect with and collaborate with, like, I just met Cierra last week and I reached out to her, and here we are planning this, right? Because, like she said, more women want to collaborate with you. They want to see you win. They want to help you. And, by them helping you, you're helping them some way, somehow. And, I always put out these posts of, it doesn't cost anything to support your small business owners, right? Or your friends and family that have businesses. This is just like one instance right here. I needed her to come in to talk about, the profits, because she does that. That is her niche. That is her jam, right? That's not my jam. So, like she said, you collaborate, you bring them in, and then you guys just make magic together. And that's what it's all about. And I can't stress that enough because, like she said, there is women out here that are catty, that are all about their self. And, it's not that they want to be like that. It's just they haven't turned their mindset yet. And once they turn their mindset, they're going to be like all of us other ones that want to collaborate, that want to see each other win, that want to connect and empower and thrive together. So, Cierra, thank you again, honey, for doing this. I can't wait to see your podcast and where it goes, because you guys all know I love podcasts.
I'm so happy that
I love to see, especially women in the group that's like, oh, Valerie, how did you start your podcast? And you know me, I just give the answers for everything. I'm like, here, do this, this, and this, and this. Now, they say to do this and this and this, but I don't do it like that because I like to keep it little and simple. But if you want to go big, honey, do it. That's what it's all about. So, of course, if I can help you in any way or give you any tips, which, Sierra's over here telling you use ChatGPT for everything, right? So I'm sure she's already got this down, and she's probably going to come back to me here in a few weeks and be like, Valerie, you only have your podcast on 3 platforms. Do you know that you should have it on 15 to 17 platforms? Because that's what it's all about. But you pick what works for you, right? And you stick to that. And then once you get that down, I always say, add gradually. Just take it a step at a time. That way you don't burn out, because burnout is serious stuff. And, I always tell the girls, if you get burned out and you feel like you want to quit, or you say, I'm going to quit, I will tell you every time, go grab a bottle of wine, go drink that thing, go cry it out. If you need another bottle, drink that too, and then pass out, and then you're going to wake up the next morning, get a shower, and you're going to come back to me, and we're going to get you a plan together. Because sometimes that's all you need is a good night's sleep, and you need to cry it out. Because we're all women. We all feel everything, right? Make sure you check out the advertisement at the end. Till next week, I'll see you guys then.
It's your time to grow. Get started with Little Pot Design Studio today.